Hi, my name's Janelle and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be sharing a DIY for this super simple embroidered collar. My sewing machine is currently being serviced, so I thought why not have a go at doing some hand sewing for once. And I've really been loving embroidery lately. There are just so many talented embroidery artists out there, and I was really inspired to have a go at doing some for myself. I do want to start this video out by saying I'm in no way an embroidery expert. This is the first bit of embroidery I have ever done, and it's very far from perfect, but I really enjoyed the process and found it so relaxing, and hopefully by sharing this super easy DIY, you'll be inspired to upcycle some of your old blouses and shirts with embroidery too. So let's get into it. To make this embroidered collar for yourself, you will need a pair of scissors, some carbon transfer paper, some embroidery thread in the colours of your choice, an embroidery needle, and a shirt or blouse with a collar. The shirt I'm using in this video is a Princess Highway Peter Pan collared blouse that I picked up recently from a thrift store for only $5. It's a cute blouse as it is, but I feel like adding a bit of embroidery to the collar will just make it a little bit more interesting. You'll also need to download the free pattern that I've made just for this video, which I'll have a link to in the description, or alternatively, you could have a go at making up your own design. Ideally, when embroidering, it's best to use an embroidery hoop to help apply tension to your fabric as you stitch. However, when working with such a small area of fabric, such as a collar, it's impossible to use an embroidery hoop, so instead I'll be spreading out the fabric with my fingers as I stitch. Start by unbuttoning the blouse to be able to get the collar to lie nice and flat. Then position your pattern onto the collar and place the carbon transfer paper underneath with the ink side down. Then use a pen to trace out the pattern. Once the carbon paper is removed, you should now have the design lightly imprinted onto the collar like this. Then repeat this for the other side of the collar, making sure to mirror the design. I only had my one drawing to work with here, but the pattern I have a link to in the description has the two mirrored designs to make this part easier for you. And your collar should now look a little something like this. Now it's time to pick your embroidery cottons. I decided to go with these three colours here as I think they contrasted really nicely to the pink in the blouse, and I'll leave the exact threads and colours I use down in the description below. For this embroidery, I decided to use 2 strands of cotton. Simply cut the length of your cotton and pull away 2 of the strands. Start stitching along the outline of the petal, leaving a gap after the previous stitch. Also, as you can hopefully see, I'm using my thumb and fingers to try and create some tension in the fabric to help stop the stitches from gathering the fabric. Once you've gone over the entire outline of the first petal, continue on, this time filling up the gaps. Doing it this way helps to create a continuous stitch without accidentally unpicking the previous stitch. And you should now have a fully outlined petal like this. Now simply complete it by filling in the line details of the petal. Then repeat this until you have a complete flower. When you get to the end of your cotton, simply tie it into a knot at the back and then rethread your needle and keep going. Next, take a contrasting colour and fill in the centre of the flower. I filled in the centre by doing a simple satin stitch. Then repeat the same stitching technique we used for the flower along the stem. Once you get to the leaves at the end, we're going to make a stitch that is known as the lazy daisy stitch. To do this, create a loop and then thread your needle up through the fabric at the top point of the leaf, threading into the loop at the same time. Pull the cotton tight and your loop should now be caught by the cotton thread. Then put the needle back through the fabric right next to where you just came through. And then repeat this until you have a group of leaves. Then go back through, fill in the gaps and create the other 4 leaves as you go. Lastly, I just added a few French knots around the flower to add a little bit of extra detail. To make a French knot, simply thread through the fabric and then loop the cotton around the needle 3 times. Then thread the needle back through the same point you came up through the fabric from, and then pull the cotton until you create a neat little knot like this. This bit does take a bit of practice, and I found that if I wasn't happy with the shape of the knot, I could simply undo it and try again. And that's the first side of the collar complete. Simply repeat this whole process for the other side. And you should now have a cute embroidered collar like this. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do give this embroidery a go, then I would love to see it. So be sure to tag me at Rosery Apparel when you share your photos on Instagram, and subscribe to this channel for more DIY and sewing type videos. Thanks for watching!